They took the worst parts of part one and made a whole movie of it. What's going on, people? Alex Thorn here, and I'm just a rock and roller who in his downtime likes to watch movies while wearing a bandana. And on this series, boy, did I get more than I was bargaining for when I decided to ask you guys, should I watch Prom Night series or should I watch Night of the Demons series? You guys chose Night of the Demons, and I was happy about that. You know why? Because I remembered Night of the Demons 1 being so good. I did not remember Night of the Demons 2 being what it is. With that being said, I watched Night of the Demons 2 on streaming, and one of the positives that I'm going to spit out in this review is that Night of the Demons 2 via streaming looked incredible. That movie looked like it was made in 2010 versus 1994. And speaking of 1994, it took quite a while for this movie to get its sequel. The original Night of the Demons was made in 1988, and the sequel was made in 1994. And honestly, I think a lot of the issues that I have with this movie are because of the time frame that it was made. The movie starts out with two complete idiots delivering lines that are terrible. They're like Mormon religious people going door to door. Why would you go to Whole House? Why do girls in high school know, guys and girls, everybody apparently knows the story of Whole House except for these two religious people who are going up into this house that looks abandoned. It looks like nobody's home. But they still go in. And Angela's there. I'm guessing Angela is trapped from the last movie. And it's on Halloween again. And then she kills them, as expected, right? Side note, I just want to say, I did not know, because I have seen Night of the Demons 2 previously, but it's been like 15 to 20 years, legit. I did not ever know that this was the same actress from part 1. And then when I went to go check, it is the same actress in 1, 2, and 3. She looks very, very different here. Just gonna leave it at that. As this movie goes on, it is Perv City. If you caught my YouTube short, that was like at the beginning of the movie, and there's guys already checking out chicks across the hall. It's a private high school that is a religious high school. And this is where like a lot of this movie goes off the rails from the beginning. A Catholic private high school is having a Halloween party. You would think that this type of school would forbid anything to do with Halloween, but instead they're like going full tilt. And then there's a pastor. By the way, he's pretty cool. He's very much in denial, but he thinks that the kids should run their own Halloween party. And it's like, what pastor would ever say that? He's very nonchalant about everything. And apparently this school only has 2 people, the nun and the pastor. You know that's a budgeting issue. But either way, I just want to make mention of one thing. Christine Taylor and Zoe Trilling. My God, are these 2 women the epitome of horror, like gorgeousness in the 90s. Incredible 2 leads. There's constant cleavage, constant naked women in this movie. Whatever the first one did that was gratuitous, the second one does it in stro. So when you talk about demons, there's more demons in this one. Talk about nudity, there's more. And you talk about comedy, unfortunately, there's more. So this movie is suffering from one character being, I wish would have returned, and it's not Angela. And even in addition to Angela, it should have been Roger. He should have been in this movie because he could have saved a ton of time. And right there is where I'm going to jump way ahead of this movie because we're not going beat by beat. Here's what I have to say about this. I don't understand why this movie felt the need to be as silly as it is, especially after watching the first one. It's such a good classic 80s cheesy movie. This is bad. I thought it was bad. And I know where you think this is going towards the end, but I think you're going to be surprised with my final, verdict on this movie. But I think this movie, in comparison to the first one, is bad. There's not one measure of this movie that holds up better than the first one other than nudity. I kid you not. But man, is it too silly. It's too silly. The effects for what it is they don't hold a candle to the first one. Angela's makeup in this, I don't understand. There's one point in this movie where they reuse Angela coming down the hallway, that weird, like skateboard shot that they do in part one where she's, coming down the hallway. They reuse that shot, and you can tell they reused it because it's a lot grainier than the rest of the film. And her makeup actually looks good in that one shot. Every other shot that's from this movie itself is terrible. Like I mentioned earlier about, and several times, about this comedy stuff. The nun, Sister Gloria, is like doing kung fu, or I'm sorry, she's doing sword fighting in her room with her ruler, because throughout the whole movie she holds this ruler like uses it all the time for everything. But it's just, it didn't need that. There's so much that got put into this movie that was unnecessary versus what the plot is. And even more than that, as the movie goes on, they add more characters to it, and they take the action from the Hull House back to the school. The only thing that I really remember from this movie, and I just watched it, is at one point Zoe's breast turned into hands when this ridiculously old, supposedly high school dropout guy goes to touch her breast at the party. They turn into hands and they melt his hands. That effect was really cool. I think some of the demons, the way they looked after they turned incredibly fast, looked really good. Not anywhere near the level of part one, but they looked good. If this review seems scattered, it's because I feel scattered about this movie. There's so much that was bad about it and so little that was good that it makes me really question what I'm about to say. At the end of the day, on the scale of does it hold up, I'm gonna give this movie, for acting, it's a 2 bandana. The special effects, I'll give it 3 bandanas. And the story, another 3 bandanas. So all that kind of adding up is not good, right? But hear me out. I do think this movie holds up still. And I'll tell you why right now. This movie still holds up because it is stupid enough and moves fast enough that you can put it on in the background on Halloween with a bunch of people in your home and all laugh while having some drinks. Maybe that's what it was made for. I don't know. But that's the only reason I'm going to give this a does it hold up. Yes, it does. Just because it moves well and it's so stupid that you can laugh at it and have a lot of people. That's about it. I want to move on to Night of the Demons 3, and thankfully, because of you guys, like I mentioned before, sometimes I watch things off of streaming, sometimes it's a Blu-ray, sometimes it's a VHS, and sometimes it's something sent by you guys. And I reached out to you on Facebook, and as soon as I get the movie from this gentleman who is sending it out to me, I'm going to give you a shout out and everything, and credit to the group in the 3rd review in this Night of the Demons series. So thank you guys so much for being cool. We're going to build a little Thorn Theater community here, and we're going to see where this goes, because I'm really happy about that. Also, finally, I've been talking about it for like the last 3 months, but my next single is finally ready. It's called Bleeding Youth, and it's available on this day, right here, today. So when you watch this, as soon as you go do that, go down in the link below and go click on Bleeding Youth. It's going to be available on all major streaming platforms. I hope you guys dig it. I hope you guys like it. I put my heart and soul into this, and this is only the first single of the year. There's plenty more coming. And with that being said, you know what I got to do. I got to go rock out. Well, actually, right now it's really, really late. I have to get some sleep. But tomorrow, I will make sure to rock out, and then I can watch some movies. Guys, take care, be blessed, and let's do this thing.